to TTL F1 here on TTTV. This is round number 2 of season number 15, which takes us to the streets of Baku here in Azerbaijan. My name is Kieran McGidley, and joining me in the commentary box for tonight, as always, is Mr. Andy Campbell. Andy, how are you tonight?
I'm looking forward to this. I've been a wee bit under the weather today, unfortunately, personally, but this should make me feel pretty good. And if the action's anything like last week in Bahrain, which, by the way, backshift's an absolute pain for making me miss that one, then this ought to be an absolute cracker, because last week was an absolute beauty of a race with some fantastic battles throughout. Baku's always known for that kind of thing as well. Really difficult circuit, so this should be fun tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to spice things up just a little bit, Andy's going to be in control of the cameras, so good luck, Andy. Normally it would be me, but we've had some issues. Andy's got working on his end, I haven't, so it means Andy's in control of the cameras. We still haven't decided who's leading yet, because this, as Andy said, about 5 seconds before the stream started, this could be interesting, because I'm in control of the cameras, and I just realised, yes, it will be very interesting, but let's see if we can run a ball with Jack whilst he goes out first person out onto track. And yeah, Andy, it's going to be a challenging race, especially at the track that offers more drama than any other circuit on the calendar.
Yeah, absolutely. If memory serves me rightly as well, it's the second longest track on the calendar also, with obviously Spa being the longest one out there. Very unique street circuit. You've got the very long straights, you've got the 90-degree corners, turn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You've got one of the trickiest sections on the calendar with the castle section, when it is probably as narrow as anything going through there, which Jack is just about to head through. It's just such a tricky one for setups. The engineers are known for probably despising this place in some way, because you need to basically compromise between your straight line speed, which you need going down towards turn 1, and still needing the downforce to get through the corners. So it does make it a very tricky track indeed.
Absolutely, as we see now Jack heading down towards turn 16, this left-hander here, and well, he's trying to get as much clear air as possible, but he's the first person out on track. But there we go now, making his way through 17, 18, 19 and 20, which in theory is full throttle, but with heavier fuel loads we could see that back end go away from the driver. But Andy, since you're in control, you might as well do the hot lap here with Jack.
Yeah, absolutely. You're still not taking that part away from me. That's never going to happen. So down towards turn 1 then, over 210 miles an hour, looking for the braking point, using a bit of the curb on the right hand side, quickly down to second for Jack before going back up to third. Short blast down towards turn 2, and again he drops it down to first gear briefly to help with turning, and then up through the gears quickly to aid traction. Second DRS zone, only 2 on this track, heading up towards turn number 3. A good opportunity for braking, for under braking overtakes, using a bit of the curb on the inside. Need to be careful of that, can pitch you into the wall. Turn number 4, you can see a lot of lockups into there. I'm not looking forward to racing here next week on TTL F2, by the way. Into turn number 5, tricky wee corner, and then 6 just comes right at you. Very, very tight indeed. To the left hand side is the end of the lap as we come up towards turn number 7 and towards the old part of the town, the old city, which is a World Heritage Site. Turns 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12 come at you as quick as that through the castle section. Do not be surprised if we see someone hit the wall through there tonight, taking the front wheels off flat out through this section, through 13 and turn 14, heading up towards the braking zone of turn 15. You can really moor the curb on the inside, but as Jack is showing, you can catch the wall on the inside there. Need to be careful of that one as well. Turn 16 is you need a very, very good exit through there, because now it's completely full throttle all the way to the end of the lap through 18, 19, 20, up to 8th gear, cutting over 200 miles an hour through the curve of turn 20, which is not really even a corner, let's be honest. DRS wide open, very long DRS straight as well. You can see Jack just keeping to the left hand side for a line of least resistance, a 1:37.7 from the Red Bull driver. That's a pretty decent lap time indeed, as Graham goes second on a 41.4. That's definitely not a representative time from the Racing Point driver.
Yeah, and a great lap around here, 6.004 kilometres if you're very interested in that. And as Andy was saying, 20 corners takes us around the streets of Baku, and one of the most dramatic circuits on the calendar. I mean, in real F1 it's dramatic, in league racing even more so. We've got 17 drivers starting this race. Andy, if you could put a bet on how many drivers are going to see the checkered flag, will it be more or less than 10?
I'm going to be actually really on the nose. I'm going to say 10 exactly. Just to be funny. D. Warren's just put himself up into second place there, 2 times down. He was slipstreaming the Gort the whole way through the third sector. So Red Bull driver inadvertently helping the McLaren driver there to get himself up into P2. The Gort put himself into P3, Crazy Legs in P4. So it's Red Bull. Oh, Hoswick out.
Is out. Yeah, he's crashed at turn 7 and missed his braking point, and with no downforce to help the car slow down, he's gone straight into the wall on the exit of turn 7. That is Hustwick's qualifying over. He's still in P5 with a 140.7, but the track will improve, and that could mean a disaster for Hustwick. Leroy currently on an outlap as well, but Jack provisional pole 37.7, Warren in second 38.0, the Gort there in third. So at the moment it is Red Bull McLaren, Red Bull McLaren.
Absolutely, and yeah, we just seen there, you seen the Haas off to the side at turn 7. My guess would be he's caught the curb too much, light, he's facing the wrong way as well. Just seen that in the overhead shot, watching from the McLaren, the Crazy Legs coming back through. You've seen the Toro Rosso facing the wrong way and now completely missing the front wing. That's definitely not going to be aero effective there, so the German will be on his way back to pit lane before much longer. A few other lap times on the board. Sean on the hard tyres, 3.7 seconds down though, definitely not representative. Navy's out there at the moment, he's on the hard compound tyres as well. Everyone else out on the soft compound tyres at the moment. C2, C3 and C4 are the tyre choices here in Baku tonight. I'm just looking through the chat there. Navy saying, fun fact, my first TTL F2 win was on Azerbaijan, and May saying that he also has a win here in both F1 and F2. So there's plenty of former winners here around the streets of Baku, and it's that unpredictability that can mean anybody, if you're in the right place, right time and avoid the drama, can pick up the win.
Really is one of those races that just rewards tenacity. It rewards that tenacious attitude to not give up, especially when things don't look like they're going your way. We don't normally see the safety car, especially in this version. However, the safety car is waiting to pick up drivers if something goes wrong. And of course we have that turn 8 section, so narrow. And well, Andy, you're facing that next week. Maybe you could give us an insight into how nervous you are going towards it.
I'll put it this way, for obviously the calendar for TTL F2 is the same as TTL F1, so we've had Bahrain on Tuesday there where I didn't finish in the points, unfortunately. A couple of spins cost me. We're here in Baku on Tuesday and then Monaco. I can't think of a worse 3 tracks to start the season, I'll tell you that much for a fact. That castle section is so tricky. If I remember rightly, I think it's only like 2.5 metres or so wide, and an F1 car's just shy 2 metres wide. So there's not a lot of give, and there's not a lot of space through here for these drivers. Remember a couple of seasons back, Blizzard was leading by a country mile. Back in, I believe it was season 13, if I remember correctly, possibly, and he stuffed it into the wall with about 7 laps to go while leading quite comfortably. So it's so easy to make a mistake through there, and the drivers need to be very careful. And I'm going to put another bet on right now that I lose at least one piece of my front wing there when we drive here on Tuesday in F2. Come and watch it.
Absolutely. Here comes Leroy towards the line then as he crosses, goes quickest, 137.6 in the Williams, and Leroy trying to put his foot down as the Gort then comes out of the pit lane. Also drivers on a flying lap is Charlie, who's out there, grabbed his first point of the season last time out, and compared to last season, went through it scoreless, and 0 points next to his name last season. I think it will give him a huge boost to go into this race here with 1 point next to his name. He's already bet last season just in one race. I can't wait to see how he handles the rest of the 9 on the calendar.
Yeah, definitely so. If I remember rightly, I think he's also been running no assists, or at least a difference in the assists to what he would normally do in previous, and that was again a bit like Alan Kay had last season. Obviously meant that the pace that they can have was not fully there, but he seems to have just picked up some additional pace. He'll be happy with being on the scoreboard already so early doors into the season. Troz just put himself into P4 with his first lap time out of the box, 6 times down. We're watching Charlie coming through the final section just now in the Alfa Romeo, and we'll see where he goes on the medium compound tyre. So he's obviously either going for a banker lap or thinking, you know what, I'm going to try something a bit different on the strategy. It'll be interesting to see where he ends up. It's still down in 13th, so he's 4 seconds down. Maybe a small mistake somewhere on the lap from him. His teammate Alan Kay across the line, 4.4 seconds down. So the Alfa's the slowest cars on the track just now, but that is always subject to change, of course. It is very dusty offline around the streets here, and it's definitely one that we'll see improve as time goes by. But Leroy, top of the standings, and you know, he had a good race last week. He done not too bad in the F2 race on Tuesday night as well. His pace has really been coming along, and you know, he's definitely one to keep an eye on if he can keep this going through the season.
Yeah, Leroy with the 3rd place last time out in Bahrain. Of course, this is a 10-round calendar this season. Last round we opened with Bahrain. Here we are for round 2 in Baku. We've then got round 3 of Monaco. So Baku, then Monaco. God, I don't want to be these drivers, that's for sure. Round 4 then takes us to France. Round 5 to Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. Round 6 takes us to the Hungarian Grand Prix. Round 7 to the Italian Grand Prix. Round 8 for the Russian Grand Prix. Round 9 for the Mexican Grand Prix. And round 10 will finalise for Spike's delight at Brazil.
Yeah, I much prefer Interlagos over Abu Dhabi, let's be honest. I am definitely not looking forward to Monaco. I've got a love-hate relationship with Monaco. I love commentating on races around there because they're so unpredictable. Driving, not so much. I don't enjoy it. Nelson Piquet said it best, it's like trying to swing a cat in your living room. It definitely is that, and the drivers will have that next week to contend with in both TTL F1 and then the following Tuesday in TTL F2. You were talking there, we've seen Crazy Leg stay in 7th, but he did improve on his time. Navy's time, I'm just realising as well, he's done that on the hard compound tyres, so that's not too bad. He's 2 seconds down, but there is quite a gap in the delta between the soft and hard compound, so that's a decent lap time from the Renault driver, trying to see if he could do something a little bit different. Warren's out of the session as well in sector 3. We're on board with Graham just now. We'll see if we can pick up if the McLaren driver did that on track or if he done that in pit lane somewhere in sector 3, so there is always the possibility. So on track, okay, we're going to see it in a minute.
Just before the start-finish stroke, actually, or the start-finish line, and Warren Instant in the chat saying, I don't want to talk about it, so maybe we shouldn't talk about it, man.
That's a strange one if it's just before the finish lines. He maybe made a late decision to go for pit lane and then decided against it, and I don't know, that's a weird one. Middle of the track as well there, that car, but it's away now, so strange one. He'll be no better than 3rd position with 5 minutes to go. Graham in 13th at the moment. Still waiting on lap times from George, who's just coming towards the finish line just now, and Mays, who's still in pit lane. And we have seen from Mays before, he'll come out and maybe just do 1 lap, or sometimes he might not even set a lap and just decide to try and avoid all the drama, as George goes 16th and at the moment 5 seconds down, but he is on the medium compound tyres. And Warren in the chat went pits with yellow damage and hit the wall, so lack of downforce trying to come into the pits too fast, I'm guessing, caught the wall, pushed him back on the track. So 3rd position at the moment, it would still be decent, but there is still the possibility with track evolution that will change before the end.
Well, there is Warren in the chat then. Went into the pits with yellow front wing damage and hit the wall, and so that's how Warren's qualifying session has come to an end. It's a 38-0, which I'm predicting will still keep him in the top 10. So if that's the case, well, those tyres are ruined now, so he won't be able to start on those, but he will have to start on a brand new set of the compound he qualified on if he finishes in the top 10. That's how the rules work. So not the end of the world for Warren. He'll get a fresh set of soft tyres so long as he stays in that top 10. And Andy, around a street circuit like this, you sort of want the softest tyres possible. We see it at Monaco. Every single season we're bringing the softest 3 compounds of tyre. Around Baku though, you're covering 6 kilometres a lap here, and we're doing quite a few laps, more distance than Monaco, so it's sort of misleading that the soft tyres seem to work. Maybe going on to the mediums might be the better shout.
Yeah, I mean, around Monaco there's not as much tyre wear because you are going quite a bit slower with it being quite slow corners. Round here there is that side of things as well, but because it is such a long track and those long straights, it's a tricky one. But they do seem to work still, the soft compound tyres. I would still say the mediums are probably a better race tyre. The hards will probably take too much to warm up. But that they could be a useful tyre for someone if they get into any trouble on the first lap. But it's one of those tricky tracks. Graham's out the session as well. It's in sector 1, and I think he was on the track as well. So don't know if you've been able to pick up on that one, Kieran. But another retiree.
He's retired from the menu, so I'm not quite sure what happened. I think he made a mistake and then realised how much time there was left in the session, so has decided to retire from the session altogether. Alan Kay making his way out of the pit lane. Meanwhile, we just have over 2 minutes to go, 2 minutes 39 to be exact. We've got Leroy Jack out on track. Lighty, by the way, 4th place now after basically getting off his front wing, taking it off by hitting the wall. Austin Powers moment for him. The Gore currently in 6th place. Looking at the time on the board, it's going to take him a while to get to his pit box. He won't get another chance, I'm going to say. I'm going to put my neck on the line and say it's going to take longer than 40 seconds for him to get back out on track again. Navy as well, now is out there on a set of medium tyres. There goes Mays for his one and only qualifying lap, which it seems it's a tactic he loves to do, to try and save some tyres. But Navy, 7th place, hard tyres. Great signing for Renault. Let's see what sort of pace he can unlock.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where he ends up. I agree with you with the Gort. He's not going to have time to get back out, I would imagine, and get round. There's probably more chance of Scotland beating Russia in the football right now, and considering I'm Scottish, well, you can imagine my pain with that one. Minute and 30 to go, and we've got pretty much everybody apart from the Gort, Old Man, Barry and Charlie and George. So there's a few drivers still in pit lane, a few drivers retired, so it's not quite going to be as busy. There you go, the Gort has retired from the session, so you won that bit. So it's not as busy as it would normally be, because obviously there is quite a few retirements. There's quite a few drivers still in pit lane who aren't going to be able to get back out now. Old Man Barry sitting there on the cusp of the top 10 on the hard compound tyres. Will he stay there? That could be an interesting one. I'm currently watching Sean on the medium compound tyres. He set his best time on the hards, and he's just had to overtake a McLaren, which is a crazy legs. That's compromised his lap badly. That is a bad compromise there. He basically ended up climbing the curbs through turn 16, and I would not be surprised if the Ferrari driver has a few stern words from the McLaren driver there, because Crazy was on an outlap. Sean was on his flyer, and that has cost him. He'll be no better than 12th unless he can keep the battery charged and get across the line for one more goal. But that's a compromised lap now for him. Leroy still in pole position though, 37.6, less than a 10th clear of Jack in second. Jack is just ahead of him, so he's going to be crossing the line first. Warren in third still, despite being out the session. Lighty in Trough, 4th and 5th for Toro Rosso, and the Gort in 6th. So 2 Toro Rossos and 2 Red Bulls in the top 6.
Yeah, absolutely. Navy, I was just watching him. Mays went up to 9th place, then Navy came round the first corner, back end, all over the place. He really had to gather it up before he got into the braking zone of turn 2. Checkered flag now is out, so we'll have to see if he actually improves on this lap time. It should be quicker than a 39.8, but he now makes his way towards that infamous turn 8 section through 9, 10, 11 and then through turn 12 here, as he now exits onto the curb and towards 13 and 14, on then towards the braking zone of turn 15. Jack then provisional pole position of 37.4. Here comes Leroy towards the line, who's currently 600ths up by Delta. It's not going to be enough for the Williams driver. Let's see what happens as he crosses the line. It's not enough. He goes quicker, but by 700ths of a second, it is not enough. Traw crosses the line then. He goes no quicker than 5th place. Lighty is now making his way out of the final braking zone and now on towards the start-finish straight. A little bit of understeer through 19 actually, as he now makes his way towards turn 20 and now steering wheel as straight as possible. He's backed out of it, backed out of that lap time, as has Navy. Crazy Legs though on a flying lap right now. Let's see what the McLaren driver can do then as we make our way now down towards that start-finish line. Yellow flags are out, but the drivers need to take no notice of it. No need to back out of a lap time. Here comes Crazy Legs towards the line. Can he get any higher than 9th? Yes, he can. 6th place, but he's instantly beaten by Henny, who no doubt had a little bit of help there with the slipstream. And with that, that is all drivers across the line or finishing their laps. So qualifying is over, and pole position will go to Jack in the Red Bull here in Azerbaijan.
Yeah, great lap time there from the season 13 champion, and he's put that Red Bull in pole position just ahead of Leroy, who's been a bit of a going through race 1 and this qualifying session. Surprise package in his debut season here in TTL F1, into second place for Williams. D1 sticks into third despite crashing out, so what could have been for McLaren, who knows. Light and Traw 4th and 5th. Henny, as you say, getting 6th place with a nice slipstream off of Crazy Legs. We'll just ignore what happened there on screen. AI cars crashing into each other. Crazy Legs in 7th, Nagort in 8th, and I think Sean got himself up into the top 10 as well. Navy 9th, Sean in 10th, and look at those two. Hard compound tyres for Navy, medium compound for Sean, so keep an eye out for them. They'll be starting on those, running longer into the race. Mays in 11th with his one and only shot. Liam Houswick in 12th, having crashed out at turn 7. Alan Kay 13th, Oldman Barry 14th, Graham in 15th, Charlie 16th, and Gypsy George rounds out the 17 drivers we have here this evening.
Absolutely, and watch out for Navy and Sean. Navy starting on a set of hard tyres, with Sean starting on a set of medium, so watch out for them. As well as that, watch out for Warren, who is in 3rd place for this one. Remember, he crashed out, so he will not be able to use those tyres. They will be pretty much put in the bin, because there's only be 3 of them usable, so that's not good for the team. So he'll have to start on a new set of the same compound. He finished, or at least he set his fastest lap in qualifying, so he'll be starting on a brand new set of soft tyres. Hopefully you can hear me a little bit better. Obviously, because I'm not hosting the stream, I've had to turn up my mic a little bit. I forgot that was a thing, so hopefully it sounds a little bit better. Hopefully I don't peak the mic too much. But Andy, since you're in control of the cameras, it sort of makes sense for you to do lap 1 and for you to do the checkered flag. This is a TTL F1 first. It's like, what's going on?
It's like opposite day here in TTTV, for crying out loud. Everyone's going backwards. Yeah, it would make a bit of sense for that to be the case on this occasion. So we will sort that so we don't have that problem, of course. And I just checked, your mic does sound fine now, so we've got no problems on that end. We've got dry weather, at least in terms of the start of the race. I don't think there's any plans for any rain. The Caspian Sea's not too far away, so you never know. And just waiting for them to join up and go for the formation lap. It's going to be an interesting race though, Kieran, with Jack, Leroy looking pretty quick. Warren's up there as well. We've got the 2 Toro Rossos kicking about. Navy got a bit of pace on the harder compound tyre. It's a tricky one to put your money on, especially around here. Yeah,
and it's a track that just gives you drama no matter where you look, and especially going into turn 8. Now luckily here the cars are meant to ghost, so if someone gets it wrong at turn 8, chances are they'll become a ghost car, but don't take that for granted. I've seen plenty of cars go into turn 8 assuming the car in front's going to ghost, and all of a sudden they find themselves out of the race by hitting the side pod. It's so easy to think, he's ghosted, it'll be fine, but obviously I believe there's going to be some sort of problem. Is this what you're cutting me off for?
Has the formation lap started? Because I'm still looking at pit lane.
I'm still looking at pit lane, yeah.
Okay, right. I think there's maybe been some desync issues, maybe in the lobby or something. I was thinking you were looking at them going round on track, and it was like, what's going on? Starting to panic there.
Happening.
Yeah,
there's
now we've got the ticks. There we go. They all ticked up, so to speak, and then they all started spinning again. There you go. As long as we've not missed anything, that's my main issue.
That should be a new phrase. They all ticked up. You know? Take that away with you. The first time Andy's leading the stream and he makes a new phrase. What's that?
Well, it is the birthday of the great Murray Walker today. Happy birthday to what is definitely my commentating hero. 96, I believe he was today. Fantastic. And
Yeah,
nothing beats Murray.
Oh, that's a bit harsh. Oh, well, I totally agree. 96 years young. Just on his birthday, make sure you type in your favourite Murrayism into the chat. My personal favourite has to be, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that car except that it's on fire. How about your favourite Murrayism? Let us know in the chat there.
Ooh, I've got two. Two of them. So one is the car in front the car behind is unique from the car in front, except they're exactly the same. Along those lines, can't remember it exactly, but you know it. And the other one is, although it was before I was born, was there's a dry line appearing in the tunnel. Because the sprinklers had gone off in the tunnel in the hotel above, and it had soaked the tunnel at Monaco and made it wet. So there was then a dry line appearing, despite the fact the rest of the track was dry.
Oh, that's harsh to be a Murrayism.
I've not quite classing it as a Murrayism, but it's still a classic line.
I have to say as well, Mansell looks like he's slowing down here, is he? Oh no, he's gone pole position.
There's an absolute number of crackers. I've been watching some of the BTT British Touring Car history stuff, and some of the stuff we had from there, just bang bang, yep, and they're off. They're both off. Just brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
There's another one where it's I can't remember which driver it was, but he what's the word I'm looking for?
Flipped the bird. It was John Cleland.
Yeah, that's right. And,
John Cleland.
Murray Walker aptly said, "I'm number one. I'll finish first." That's brilliant.
Yeah, I think we're going to be looking at a possible restart here, unfortunately, because everything seems to have gone to pot. So this is where, if we were getting paid, we would be earning our money by filling in the dead time. But we'll still do our money's worth anyway, even though we don't get paid. I've just seen a message in the chat. Some of them saying they're actually stuck on the grid. So I get the feeling some cars are on the grid and they're not moving. Some cars are stuck in the ether somewhere, and we're busy looking at pit lane. So unfortunately, bit of an issue going on here. Do apologise for this. We'll keep the stream running just now, and we will try our best to fill in the time. Do put your Murrayisms in the bottom though, because I'm not, as I say, for me nobody's better than Murray. It's not to say there's other commentators aren't good, because they are, but for me Murray is he's just something special, and I don't think there'll ever be anyone like him again.
Absolutely not. Just on a side note, people are sending in photos in the chat saying that they're stuck on the grid or whatever. But we've got Barry, who's sending probably the winning photo. He's actually on the grid, but he's got Sean on his right, facing forward, and then Charlie on his left, considering he's on the left-hand side of the grid, facing the other way. That's quite an interesting photo. That's definitely the winning photo of today, I would have to say that.
Well, I've got a better one, because I've just clicked to exit to menu, and I'm now looking at a couple of cars going round, I'm guessing by AI ghosting, and they were all doing donuts in the start line. So,
that is...
Welcome to 2019.
Absolutely. Right, it's just a bit of fun. So that is a confirmed restart for this one. As well as that, the formation app will be turned off for the restart. What this means, Andy, is that Warren might have a little bit of a break here, because now everybody is starting on a set of fresh tyres. The top 10 will have to start on a fresh set of the compound they qualified on, or set their fastest lap on. That means that Navy has to start on the hard tyres no matter what, and that means Sean, I believe it was, has to start on the mediums.
Yeah, everyone else was soft. So what then happens, because I've not been in this situation before, and maybe you have, what now happens in regards to qualifying?
Well,
that's an interesting one.
The qualifying is going to be organised pretty much as it is. So we should have Jack on pole and so on and so forth down to P17. It should be exactly the same. The rules in this case is, of course, anyone outside of the top 10, they already had the rule of they start on a fresh set of whatever tyres they want. However, they have to pick because of course before the weekend or the game weekend starts, you get a choice of whether you want to go aggressive with the tyre strategy, neutral or conservative. So more soft tyres, about the same, and then more hard tyres. So you have to pick the same set of tyres. You have to pick the same sort of aggressiveness, if you like. Then you have to pick the tyres you set your fastest lap in qualifying. Now for the top 8, it was the soft tyres. For Sean in P9, I believe it was P9, was it for Sean?
P10 for Sean, Navy was P9.
P10. So Navy P9 will have to start on a fresh set of hard tyres, because that's the qualifying tyre he set his fastest lap time on. For Sean, he will have to start on a fresh set of medium tyres. So it's pretty much exactly the same as qualifying, except all the top 10 drivers will have to start on a fresh set of tyres, but they have to pick the same aggressiveness in the strategy, and they also have to be on tyres they set their fastest lap in qualifying, albeit a fresh set.
Okay, so that rounds that one up, so hopefully it will be quite quick in getting going. It would be the night that we're having the YouTube login issues for yourself that the lobby decides it wants to have a hissy fit as well. So we apologise for the technical issues. If I was streaming this on a PC with OBS, I would have up the technical issues. You remember the one that used to be in the BBC saying they were all fair technical issues? Something like that would be on the screen right now, but I don't have options for that, I'm afraid.
Yeah, absolutely. We're just getting invites now to
Yep,
brand
so
new
screen's
lobby.
going blue, so you probably won't be able to hear Kieran in a minute. So let's just do that. And we are joining the session. And we're back in the lobby, so you'll be back with us now.
Hooray! Oh, I love being back. Oh, well.
Custom grid. I didn't realise there was a custom grid option. I was trying to wonder how people would get put in position. That's interesting.
Well, there you go. Also, the weather stays exactly the same. So
it was overcast.
So it was overcast. It looks like it's going to be overcast for the whole race. So that's what the weather will be. So there's no element of surprise for us anymore. However, this is going to be. I think this is going to be a really, really interesting one. We have got obviously a grid that's coming together. We have obviously we have this new thing that was brought in last season where we rotate the calendar. So for the first season, or last season, we had 11 races. For this season we have 10 races, and it alternates between the two. So for this season we're going with the even numbers on the actual race calendar. So race 2, race 4, race 6, race 8, and so on and so forth. I think, to be honest with you, that was a move that was going to be either hit or miss, and I think it's a huge hit because the drivers each season have their own favourite tracks, their worst tracks or whatever, but they're in entirely different seasons. And the decision to make TTL F1, so the decision was to make it from Tuesday and Thursday to solely Thursday, moving up TTF F2 from a Sunday up to a Tuesday. So it happens every week now, either a 10-week season or an 11-week season. And to be honest with you, I think the right call has been made. We're getting a much closer championship. We saw that last season between Lyronix and Spike, who are both missing for tonight, so I hope they're well and ready to come back next week. Both Mercedes drivers gone. And I think it's really spiced up the championship in the fact that you've got to be good at all the tracks, but maybe next season you can be better at some as well.
Yeah, it does make it give a little bit of a difference to doing other things at the same time, to the calendar. You do see, if we can't deny obviously that there are leagues out there, and you see some of them where it's kind of set at a certain 10 race calendar, for example, where they seem to have picked the best tracks, which is cool in its own sense, but that's the tracks that everybody's usually good at. Silverstone, Hockenheim, places like that are usually ones that everybody knows. So having it mixed up means that you do have the scenario where there's going to be tracks you don't like, and if as we may now being in F2, if we take that scenario, the first 3 rounds of this season for TTL F1 and TTL F2 are probably 3 of my poorer tracks personally. But then once we get to, I don't mind France, I love Silverstones, I've waxed lyrical about it before, and so on, I don't mind as much. But if it had been last season, starting in Melbourne and then China and then Catalonia, I don't mind that as much in terms of that. So it does flips and goes in roundabouts, and it does mean that you have that mixed upness. It'll be interesting to see if we keep it going on next season, or if there's going to be maybe another flip around just to maybe mix it up a wee bit more and spice it up more. But I do like the shortened calendar because it keeps the championship relatively close through the entirety of the season as well, and that's always a good thing.
Yes, and looks like we're starting to ready up. The grid's ready, Alan's ready, who's been doing the grid, so looks like then we're ready this time to start in Azerbaijan. And Andy, remember there's no formation lap, so for the first ever time with the two of us in the same commentary box in TTL F1, Andy Campbell is going to be taking you through lap number 1.
Yes, this ought to be quite fun indeed. I'll do my best to keep a hold of the action. It's your job this week to pick up everything else that's been happening like I would normally do. Hopefully no more lobby issues. We apologise for the delay, but completely beyond our control. And as a few of them have been saying in chat, no formation lap means, well, they've not had the chance to properly warm the tyres up. Navy especially, being on the hard compound tyre. He's not looking forward to this first lap, so we'll need to keep an eye out there. It'll be interesting to see what those outside the top 10 go for, because we have no idea what they were going to pick first time by. So do they stick with that choice, or do they change their mind? Do they decide to go for something different? Who knows? Be interesting to see what goes on. I'm just trying to wait on the lobby loading up. There we go. So, you are tuned in to TTTV here on a Thursday evening, and we are getting ready for the start of round number 2 of TTL F1. It's season 15, round 2. We're at the Baku City Street Circuit in Azerbaijan, and we are about to go live after some technical lobby issues, and finally, fingers crossed, have a fantastic race. We did discuss it briefly, and then we realised there was a problem. Who are we looking out for? Who are you watching in this race, Kieran, with 15 seconds to go?
Spot. Navy, Leroy, Warren. That's what I'm looking out for.
Okay, well, put you on the spot there, and you've done it with 7 seconds to spare, so good luck, and well done. Good luck to everybody. Hopefully everyone's remembered to pick their setups again, and as you can see, we are on the grid waiting for the lights. And we're underway here in Azerbaijan. It was a bit of a different start to what I was expecting down to turn 1 though. Jack's got a good jump into the lead. Leroy though up the inside now, heading towards turn number 2. Got a much better exit out of turn number 1, and Leroy takes the lead in the Williams into turn number 2. Jack's on the back of him. Warren holding on to third, battling away with Lighty. There's contact in the background. I'll let you check that one out. We'll come back to it. We'll keep an eye on the guys up front. Jack, meanwhile, has managed to take the lead back into turn number 3. Warren holds on round the outside of Lighty into turn 4 with Traw in 5th. Navy's already up to 7th, making up 2 places already on this opening lap despite the hard compound of the tyres. So he's up to 7th, just behind Jeffrey Henney, who's in 6th. Crazy Legs down to 8th. The Gort's down to 9th, and Mays rounds out the top 10, but already chopping and changing at the front there. Jack and Leroy have already swapped the lead twice between themselves as they head through the castle section for the first time. What happened further back? I've seen a wee bit of a car going sideways by the looks of it, Kieran. Did you catch it?
Yeah, it was Navy. Oh, that's the other Renault of Mays hitting the wall at turn 8. The first of what I assume is going to be many cars there. Mays just lost it on his own and now has to spin it all the way around. Finds himself in that escape row. This is just painful for him as he now looks to get back underway. What I was going to say was Navy. It was Navy getting a little bit squirrely out of turn 7. And he manages to gather the car up, but lost a position back to Crazy Legs, that position he fought so hard for. But at the moment then, Mays just looks like the only car that was in a major bit of trouble.
Yeah, and unfortunately there, didn't quite catch it. Just in the aftermath, unfortunately, for the Renault. And that's, as you say, the first driver caught out by that tricky castle section here tonight. Jack leads. He's got 7/10 of a second over Leroy in second. Warren in third. He's got the 2 Toro Rossos trying to keep tabs on him with Lighty and Traw 4th and 5th. Henny in 6th. Crazy Legs in 7th with Navy all over the back of him. We'll need to keep an eye on that Renault later on in the race for the hard compound tyres. He's in 8th. The Gort in 9th. Sean in in 10th. Housewick's just gone past on Charlie for 13th. George has just gone past because Alan Kay's into pit lane, so there's a wing change for Alan. So I wonder if maybe there'd be some issues there, if there may be some contact between him and Mays, or did he just get caught out in the same issue? Maybe it'll be hard to tell. We'll maybe find out at a later point. But closest battle on the track, there's a few of them. In fact, Leroy's gained a bit of time on Jack, and he's now got that gap down to 4 tenths, so he looks much quicker in the first sector. It looks like Jack's able to pull away in sector 2 possibly. So this could be a bit of a ding-dong back-and-forth battle through the race. You're on board there with the front wing of the Williams, right behind that Red Bull. They've already pulled well out of DRS range on the chasing pack, so these two are streaking off into the distance in what could be a 26-lap battle between the Red Bull and the Williams.
Absolutely, and I'm really looking forward to this and really enjoying it already. The top two so close to each other. Jack initially losing the lead on the first lap, then being able to gain it back in the Red Bull here, and wants to get on with the job and get his first race win of the season, as does Leroy, of course, as they now head down the start, but it's straight to start lap number 3, and DRS will be enabled. They won't be able to use it though until the second lot of DRS at turn 2. In fact, yes, they will, because the braking zone is just before turn 2 there. Leroy setting the fastest lap of the race as he loses the back end. Very close to the wall there comes the Williams. Just lost the back end, bit of a heavy right foot out of turn 1. Almost saw the end of his race right before him, but he's able to gather the car up and get back going again on towards turn 2.
Yeah, just caught the end of that as I was looking back at Henny, who was getting closer and closer to the back of Traw. We've just seen the end of it as he was basically, it looked like he was coming out of pit lane. He had managed to put the foot down that much there. It doesn't look like anyone's been close enough to make a move under DRS down towards turn number 3, so it's still as you were. The two pit stops so far, Alan Kay and Mays. Alan's gone on to the soft compound tyres, so that's a different one there. He's obviously deciding he wants to pit at least one more time, because there's no, they'll do 25 laps, that's for sure. Oh, Leroy's in the wall! Leroy, second victim of the castle section. He's still going, but he's lost front wing, and now he's just sliding through turn number 12. Damage to the Williams. He's going to lose a lot of time. He's probably going to lose out on second place to Warren. You just seen that, just a bit too quick through the castle section. Got the side caught onto the wall, and he's into the wall again. He's pushing too hard on his way back to pit lane. More front wing off. He's nearly lost the entirety of the right hand side, and he's trying to find a gap to get back to pit lane, but that is a race ruined just by trying a bit too hard through the castle section. And 3 laps into this race, we've had 2 victims already.
Lighty going for a move past Warren who has front wing damage, and that looks like Alan Kay out of the race there from 16th place, that is. But there go the 2 Toro Rossos, who now take second and third. The 2 Germans are going to battle down towards turn 1, are they? No, they're not. They stay in formation. Lighty now up to second, Traw in third. Who saw the 2 Toro Rossos taking second and third this early on?
Okay, so 3 victims in 3 laps. He's facing the wrong way. He's binned it in the castle section. We just seen it there on stream. We jumped on board with Mays, and Leroy's left the session, so his car's now ghosting as well. It's going from bad to worse there as we just catch the end of Navy getting up the inside on the Gort at turn 3 under DRS. Nice little move there from the Renault driver. He carries on, so 1 retirement in Alan Kay at the castle section. Leroy's no longer in control of his car. The AI's put him onto the hard compound tyre as well after that mistake, and well, it's going from bad to worse as Housewick and Graham having a bit of a battle coming out of turn number 4. It looks like Housewick's held on to that position for now, but it's an absolute gift for Jack up front. He's now 7 seconds clear of the 2 sister cars, Lighty and Traw in the Toro Rossos. Oh, you're just seeing something a bit close, I'd imagine.
It was more than close, it was contact. It was Graham running into the back of Hustwick there into turn 7. Graham lost his front wing on the rear wing of Hustwick. The momentum of the pump there took Hustwick into the wall on the left hand side, so he's got front wing damage as well. But Graham's definitely fared worse now, because there goes Charlie up the inside in towards turn 11. He's just taken that position away. Here comes George now down towards turn 15. He's going to go around the outside the racing point, just trying to get out of the way now as they look towards pit lane. But yeah, a bit of a moment there for Graham. He missed his braking point, ran into the back of the Haas. They both got damage.
Not good indeed. either of them. So there's a bit of Red Bull front wing on the inside of turn number 1 as well. And noticing that actually it's Troy, he's missing the right hand side end fence as well. So even in third place there's issues and of damage already. He's trying to obviously stretch it out to the pit stop phase. So it's going to be an expensive one for the teams in terms of the carbon fibre department, because there's multiple front wings. Graham's off as well. So where is Graham? What's happened to him? We're on board with the Ghost car. It's in pit lane. He's retired. So Graham out of the session now as well, and deciding that for whatever reason he's had enough basically after that incident. So 2 retirements already. Yellow flag in sector 2, and it's the other one. It's Henny around. We just seen it there. We were on board with, I think it was Navy we were on board with, and I just seen the pink Panther off to the side, and that is another car. It's really tricky conditions out here by the looks of it. The overcast conditions maybe not holding the temperature in the road, and well, Henny will be lucky if he's not got any wing damage either. Let's have a look. Yeah, he's missing an end fence on the left hand side, so he'll be on his way back to pit lane as well. Carnage everywhere already, Kieran.
And we're only 5 laps in as it stands, and you know, for Graham there, I don't understand why he's retired from this race so early on. There's still 22 laps to go. Anything can happen in those 22 laps. We've just seen how many drivers have fallen victim to the walls after only just 4 laps. And there is a Williams there of George now meeting the barriers on the exit of turn 14. That is front wing damage on the right-hand side. You see what I mean? There's cars losing front wings left, right and centre. There's Navy now making a move on Crazy Legs on the hard tyres. He's now up to 4th place. A great drive so far from Navy as he makes his way now down towards turn 1. Next target for him will be Troy, who, as we've said, has front wing damage. There's Warren here trying to make a move on Charlie down the main straight, but Charlie's putting up a little bit of a fight here down the straight. More straight line speed in that Alfa Romeo than Warren's giving credit for, but he has got the move done down towards turn 1. That is in the background there. Henny coming into the pit lane as he now goes to replace that front wing, but Warren now up to 9th. That puts Charlie back up into the top 10. Crazy Legs still trying to chase down Navy. He is on the soft tyres, but there's going to be a certain point, Andy, when those soft tyres give no more. Yeah,
absolutely, and I'd imagine that will be coming very, very shortly indeed as well. We're now on to lap number 6, and it won't be long before those guys are into pit lane. But yeah, I mean, I'm a firm believer, I've said it before on stream, and especially now we're driving to drive to the end. Even if it's a bad race, you never know what's going to happen. You never know, especially around this kind of track, who's going to retire. You can easily pick up points. I'm currently watching old man Barry chasing down Sean, and just to show you, Sean's missing the front wing end fence as well on the left hand side of his Ferrari. So carbon fibres strewn everywhere around the track, and you know, it's so easy to pick up points here tonight, because that's not going to be the last retirements, I would imagine. We've still got 20 laps to go, but Jack, well, he's going to be quite happy. 7.8 seconds clear, but I think Navy's on for a podium here tonight, to be honest with you. Great start on the hard compound tyres. He's still got a long way to go before he will be anywhere near pit lane, as long as he doesn't hit the walls.
Here is the Gort then closing it on Crazy Legs down towards turn 1, moves to the left hand side with DRS, but breaks earlier than Crazy Legs into turn 1, and Crazy Legs is able to hold the position around the outside then. That's why, because the Gort has front wing damage on the right hand side. Oh, Crazy Legs losing the back end. The Gort running into the back of Crazy Legs there, and it looked like he hasn't done a lot of damage to the front wing, or at least that was already damaged, as the Gort then backs out of a move. He's not going to go for a move on Crazy Legs here, as Crazy Legs once again loses the back end there. That's something with the brake bias. Surely that brake balance is far too rearward for that car, because he seems to be locking up the brakes and losing that back end. Either that or the rear tyres have given up the ghost already.
Quite possibly one off the two. I mean, the brake bias being too rearward would be a very good reason for such a tail-happy car, but then again, maybe he's not put enough downforce on that rear wing as well, and maybe it's just not sticking as it would do if he just had another click or two on downforce. So it's not helping at all.
That looked like contact for the race leader. Yes, it was contact in turn 15. Oh, sorry, yeah, turn 15. He's hit the wall on the right-hand side. Race leader, Jack, now has damaged that car. I don't think it's too far away from the pit window, though, so I don't think it's too much of a problem. But even it's catching out even the leader, even a driver's champion, these walls are catching out so many drivers tonight. And
Definitely so. Jack into the pits, yeah, so we just caught him at the end there. So the leader comes into the pits, perfect timing in my opinion, not just because of the front wing damage, but purely because it is that time as Tro comes in as well. So he's going to get rid of that damaged front wing that he's got on the front of his Toro Rosso. The Gort's coming in, as is Crazy Legs, so Jack should be away in plenty of time for the Gort to get his wing changed. Crazy Legs has surely got some damage as well. So Lighty now leads the race from Navy up in second, 4.8 seconds between them. Jack's coming out just and staying in third position, so he's still ahead of Sean and Old Man Barry, who have got obviously still battling away. Sean with that front wing damage on the Ferrari, so Jack in third, so he's only dropped 2 places. It just shows you how much a lead he built up in those early stages. So it's Sean fourth, Barry in fifth, Warren back up to 6th place after his early pit stop due to damage. Tro comes back out in 7th, Crazy Legs in 8th, Charlie's up to 9th, the Gort rounds out the top 10, and look at that, for those that have been in the pits, Tro, Crazy Legs, the Gort, all on the hard compound tyre, and they're running to the end of the race, as is Jack. So I thought the medium tyre might be a better race tyre, but obviously the drivers here, they know better than I do, feeling that it will not last until the end of the race, going for the more durable option.
Yes, and let's see how that turns out. Meanwhile, Barry here is in 5th place. Don't rule him out of a good result today. He's currently chasing down Sean for what is 4th place. Of course, they're both yet to stop. But yeah, I think Barry here, he originally wasn't going to go for the hard tyres, I don't think. The restart made him rethink the strategy. Of course, he started outside the top 10, so he's allowed to pick any tyre he likes. He went onto the hard tyres, only the other driver. So there were only 2 drivers who started on a set of hards at the start of this race. It was Barry and Navy, who's currently in 2nd place, only 3.7 behind Lighty, who comes into the pit lane. So Navy then will take the lead of the race here in Azerbaijan, and it looks like he could stay there for quite some time before he comes into the pits.
Definitely so. I mean, I would not expect to see that Renault in pit lane until somewhere around maybe lap 18 roughly, depending on how good he can keep the tyres, so that'll be an interesting one. Sean's into pit lane now as well, so he's going to get rid of that damaged wing that he's got. Lighty back out in 4th position behind Old Man Barry, but Barry is still to stop yet, having started, as you say, on those hard compound tyres. So the gap between Navy and Jack is 10.4 seconds at the moment. We've already seen Jack getting caught out and damaging his wing, or he probably would have been a lot closer already, because that would have cost him time in pit lane. How quick can he close up to the back of that Renault? How long can Navy take this stint to come out later on further ahead? I mean, what are we looking at? Around about 20 seconds roughly for a pit stop? So at the moment it would be somewhere around 5th roughly.
Yeah, roughly about that. But Navy's just going to try and keep his head down, as Jack will look to try and close the gap, but very wayward into turn 8 there. Very, very lucky for Jack to escape that with no front wing damage. Didn't look confident through there at all, and it's cost him a couple of tenths of a second, but he's instantly gained that back just through the run towards turn 15 alone. Meanwhile, the Gort is putting pressure on Charlie as they now make their way through towards turn 8. Charlie just holding his ground right now, currently running in 8th place. He has yet to stop. The Gort, meanwhile, has made his stop. Remember, he did have front wing damage on his first stint here, as he's now looking to try and get back up the field. Mays, meanwhile, chasing down Henny. This is the battle for 14th place, as they now make their way up towards what is turn 4, on through 5, and then through turn 6 here on the short run towards turn 7. 2 battles here looking at, and we're going to jump back on with the Gort, because he's right on the back of Charlie, just a couple of 100 metres away from the DRS activation point. Now coming through, you can see the Gort has got a lot more grip on those hard tyres. Moves to the right hand side, there's the detection point, and it looks like that the Gort will have the DRS, which he does. And look at that, he's made the move and is increasing that gap to the Alfa Romeo behind down towards turn 1. But in all honesty, I don't think Charlie put up too much of a battle for the Red Bull. He understands they're both on different strategies. He doesn't want to cost himself time on his extended medium stint.
No, definitely not, and that was a slam dunk of a move. Speaking of possible slam dunks, here comes George on Housewick under DRS. It's very powerful down that front straight especially, and that is another move made pretty easy by the drag reduction system. I'm going to jump now to Light though. He is right onto the back of old man Barry, but he's caught him in the castle section, and that's not where you really want to be catching a car, because it is obviously, you can see it there on board, just so narrow and so easy to get it wrong. And the German trying to get back onto what is currently the podium position, being held by the Haas driver, who is yet to pit, have started on compound tyres. Only Navy and Barry started on hard compound tyres, along with Charlie. They are the only drivers still to pit in this race. Jeffrey Henney's been in and made a second stop already, so I wonder if the Dutch driver on the racing point picked up more damage at some point that we didn't see on screen. Here comes Lighty though, a little bit of desync there, yellow flag, and Housewick's out the session down the field. Let's see if we can quickly find out what happened there to him. Oh, wait a minute, I'm coming up. It's the castle section, isn't it? Let's see here. Housewick left the session, and yep, he is in the wall at the castle section. So another victim falls prey to the castle section, and Henny's got more damage on that front wing as well, so he's having a horrible race. Lighty did get through on Barry. It looked a pretty easy move under DRS. I jumped away because there seemed to be a bit of desync between them. Didn't really want to be showing that on stream. And Housewick clamping the wall there in the exit of turn 3. That's going to do him no good at all, missing the end fence right hand side, and Warren now in the McLaren will be smelling blood as he tries to take P4.
Yeah, it was Barry who hit the wall there. Hustwick's out of the race, but yeah, Barry, who's had a strong opening stint here with these hard tyres, it's going to be made a little bit more tricky now with that front wing damage. He's got Warren behind him. Warren has made an early stop. He's now on a set of medium tyres. We are expecting him to come back into the pits. I don't think he'll make it to the end on those set of tyres. He might put in for another set of mediums towards the back end of this race. But right now he's focused on Barry ahead of him, trying to close in on that gap ahead.
Yeah, definitely so. Getting mixed up with the two Haas drivers while speaking about them at the same time. That's definitely not going to help Barry's strategy. Obviously, being on the hard compound tyres, he was not probably due to come into the pits at least for another 5 or so laps, I would imagine. This could bring his pit stop forward. He'll have to look at the medium compound tyres for sure. No chance of going on to those red soft compound now. We jump on board with Warren, who's going to make this, well, shows you how powerful the slipstream is as well. Never mind DRS, he's passed well before they get anywhere near the line, and Warren up into 4th position. I don't see Barry mounting an attack back with that damaged front wing, and he doesn't. He sticks there in 5th position, so he's going to try and extend the stint, I would imagine, there as long as he feels he can with the damage, but he's got to balance between that and not losing too much time as well, as Sean has just got himself passed on Charlie, doing the exact same thing that we just seen Warren do on Barry. Strong slipstream. DRS just makes it a slam dunk, and he is through as well. May's just catching up to the back of Leroy, who it's such a shame for Leroy. It's incident on, what was it, lap 2, damaged his wing, and then he's left the session. He's ghosting around, so he won't score any points if he finishes in the top 10. What could have been though, because he was sticking with Jack in those opening stages. What could have been? We could have been in for a titanic tussle between the two of them, and unfortunately we're going to miss out on that, unfortunately, here tonight.
Yeah, because of course he is out of the race. He's running around as a ghost car, but he will not be classified if he doesn't finish as a human after 26 laps. We're on lap number 12. It is Navy leading with Jack in 2nd, Lighty 3rd, Warren 4th. Old man Barry is there in 5th place with Troy in 6th, Tracy Lake 7th, Becourt in 8th, Short in 9th, and Charlie currently rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, so Charlie just extending his stint as well in the medium compound tyres. Jack's nibbling into that lead on Navy, but it's still 7.5 seconds, so he's still getting enough grip in those tyres. Here comes Warren though onto the back of the Toro Rosso of Lighty, and again strong slipstream. DRS is now open, and just as he opens the DRS is the point that he overtakes the Toro Rosso. Down towards turn 1, takes the racing line back, and he is through and into what is now a podium position. So considering a wee crash in qualifying, although he still started in 3rd, damage to his front wing as well early doors, Still on for a possible podium here as Warren, showing a bit more of the pace that we've seen when he joined the league last season around Austria, where he done a run of 3 podiums in a row, remember, and if he can keep it out of the wall, he could be on for a very good result. Traw, meanwhile, has done what his teammate hasn't done. He's gone forward rather than backwards, as he's just made a move on Old Man Barry and now up to 5th.
Yeah, judge that braking to perfection. Any later, he would have been straight, wing first, into the wall at turn 3, but he managed to turn it in and get the move secure. He's now up to 5th place, approaching the halfway mark then, Andy. 14 or 13 runners left in this race. I'll tell you what, we're on target for your guess of 10 drivers finishing this race, but the castle section looks as dangerous as it's ever been. In fact, more so than it has been in TTL's history. It's called out Blizzard one season, but it's actually called out 2 or 3 drivers here tonight.
Yeah, there's been more carbon fibre done there than I can think of anywhere else, although, speaking of carbon fibre, Light nearly took his front wing off there, jumping the curb at turn 15, but it just shows you how tricky that castle section is. It is so narrow, but you need to try and carry the speed through there, because if you don't, you're just going to lose too much time in comparison to the drivers around you. So it's a real risk and reward section. You get it right, it rewards you well. You get it wrong, well, it usually ends up in a DNF. We've seen Alan Kay there, we've seen Housewick there, we've seen plenty of other drivers clipping it as well and damaging the wing, and I don't think we'll have seen the last of that tonight as well, unless they all decide to calm down. We are over the halfway distance mark. We've got a little bit of a quiet lull now in the race finally, as the closest battle on track is Lighty and Warren, 1.5 seconds between them, and Warren is pulling away by a couple of attempts at a time, so got a little bit of a quiet moment just now to catch our breath after what was a pretty frantic start to this race, Kieran.
Yeah, absolutely, with the Toro Rossos currently running in 4th and 5th. There are yellow flags out in sector 3, and it's George here. George who's lost it at turn 20. Is that, no, 19. So he's lost the back end there, or maybe what's happened is that he might have had a bit of front wing chopped off, or for whatever reason the tyres have gave up on him and he understeered into the wall, but he was facing backwards just before turn 20. That's a bizarre one.
I think what he's done is he's probably turned into turn 20 just a tad too quickly and maybe clipped the wall on the inside, and it's just spun him right round maybe. I know that one because I've done it myself, unfortunately. I hate to admit, but that's put him at the pit lane. He would have had to pit again anyway. He'd made an early pit stop, gone on to soft compound tyres. There was no way they were going to make the end of the race anyway, so it's kind of just brought his pit stop along, but it's cost him a bit of time and drops him to the back of the field. Navy's into pit lane, so he's pitting a bit earlier than I thought he would have done. I thought he might have gone another few laps. Maybe those tyres are wearing out a bit quicker than anticipated, so he is back underway on the medium compound tyres. He's going to lose out second place, I think, to Warren. It's going to be pretty close on the exit possibly. Where are we? And Warren has just got that done, has he? Side by side, yeah, Warren takes over second place, but Navy on a brand new set of medium tyres and DRS is going to try and make an immediate attack. Look at the slipstream in DRS there as we're on board. So much more pace, so much more speed, and straight away Navy is back up into second position. So that was almost like teasing. It was like, yeah, I'll give you second place, and no, I want it back now. Took it straight away, but the slipstream was so powerful. Now 10.6 seconds between Navy and Jack. Jack's done 7 already on those tyres. Navy's on the softer compound with the mediums. This could be a bit of a grandstand finish if it carries on the way we maybe anticipate it happening, as long as there's no more damage. So we'll keep an eye on that gap as this race progresses into its final stages. But it's Jack in the lead once again, Navy second, Warren third, two Toro Rossos closing up, LIT and Traw fourth and fifth. Old Man Barry still pounding around, the only driver not to have made a pit stop yet, and he does have some wing damage, so expect him in soon. He is currently in 6th. Crazy Leg 7th, the Gordon 8th, Sean in 9th. Charlie, having made his pit stop, rounds out the top 10, and he's in a bit of no man's land at the moment. 27 seconds off of Sean, 10 seconds clear of Jeffrey Henney in 11th, Mason 12th, Leroy's 13th but ghosting, so he's actually out of the race, so it's George in 13th, and now 1 lap onto his new tyres, having made that mistake on the previous lap.
Yeah, well, just in the pit lane there, whilst Navy was getting his tyres changed, he put in the chat, hammer time. I don't know about you, Andy, but I think he's gunning for the win.
I think so, yes, and although you're in pit lane, I don't recommend texting while driving. I give Crusher Bro in the Project Cars League a bit of hassle for that. Always doing it. Back with us, he's taking the mick. Old man Barry into pit lane so he can finally get rid of that damaged front wing. He's managed to at least get through to the end of the stint in the Haas, and he is back under. Has that changed the wing? That was a quick pit stop, actually. Did it change the wing? It's not, no, it's not. It's not changed his wings, so unless that's a glitch on our side that shows that he's got damage, or it's not done it, and the game's, well, maybe they ran out of money at Haas, I don't know. They did lose Rich Energy sponsorship, but then again, I didn't think they had any money anyway. Yellow flag in Sector 2. I think it was maybe just the Williams of George getting out of the way of Jax. I think he's just been lapped there as well, so nothing majorly to worry about. Navy pulling away nearly 3 seconds already over Warren, and he's already gained a second on Jax, so doesn't want to take too much life out of those tyres too quick, because that could cause him problems later on into the stint.
Yeah, but the thing about this alternate strategy is that obviously we've got Jack on the hardest tyres we've brought here. We've got Navy on the middle tyres, the C3 tyres. So it's not a case of, oh well, those tyres will be done and dusted in about 4 or 5 laps time like we normally see with the Red Bull soft tyres. These tyres are going to have a bit of durability about them, as we've seen in the race. They do hold some pace about them. Watch this space. This battle between Navy and Jack, I'm predicting around about lap 24, we could see a great battle for the lead.
We could do indeed. The bit that worries me for Jack is if we look at Navy, okay, it was on heavier fuel. He only managed about 14-15 laps on the hard compound tyres. Jack's already done 9, and he's got at least, what's that, another 9 or 10 to go. So it's going to be pushing the end of the possibility of what these tyres can maybe do, and that might come back and give him a bit of hassle later on in the race. I'm looking here as Barry Warren's out of the race, and Jack's left the session. Warren at turn 3 in the wall, and at the same time Jack's become a ghost car. Unbelievable. It's all gone off at one time, just as I was watching Barry trying to close up the back of Sean. Warren's in the wall at turn 3, Jack's no longer in control of the car, and that battle you were talking about, unless Jack can get back in quickly, might happen sooner, and it might not even happen at all, Kieran. Unbelievable stuff here in Baku for round number 2, and Jack's rejoined, so he's managed to quickly get back in, which is good for him. How quick can he get back in control of that car? Barry and Sean battling away over 7th and 8th. Barry had briefly got by and had then repassed by Sean, so it's still a ghost car. We're on board with Jack at the moment. The AI is controlling that car just now. Wait for it, we're going to follow him now. When does it go solid? Because that's when he is back in control. And you can see the gap to Navy is already down to 4.5 seconds.
Oh no, I think the car. Oh,
it's back, yeah, he's back.
You know what? I thought that AI car was going to come into the pits. So in the nick of time, Jack has retaken control of that car. But look at the gap, 3.8 seconds, Andy. This battle's going to happen sooner rather than later now.
Yeah, it's definitely going to happen much sooner now, but what drama. At the same time that Warren's in the wall and out the session, Jack drops out of the lobby, and as you say, yeah, I think you're right. If he hadn't got back in control of the car at that point, I think the AI might have brought him into pit lane, which would have completely ruined his race. There's battles kicking about now as the Gort is closing in on Crazy Leg. Sean and Barry are still trying to have a bit of battle. Barry's just dropped off a little bit on the back of the Ferrari, so I'm going to follow the Gort and Crazy Legs just now. It looks like Crazy's just caught the wall coming out of turn number 2, and the Red Bull with DRS is closing in quickly, but can he do anything before the braking zone of turn 3? No, he cannot, but Crazy's gone deep straight down the escape road, Daniel Ricciardo-esque. At least there's no car there to hit on the way back as he reverses onto track, and that's probably the easiest move the Gort's probably had to do all night. Easily done. Crazy outbreaks himself down the escape road. P5 for the Red Bull.
Yeah, but now 16.7 behind Troll there. I have to give huge props to the Toro Rossos. The German Toro Rossos are having a great race here. Lighty in 3rd, Troll there in 4th place. Troll obviously, well, it's a bit tough to call who's the lead driver at the moment, because Troll isn't really looking to try and overtake Lighty. He's proved that earlier on in the race. And I think here they're just looking at constructors' points rather than drivers' titles. We know how good the chemistry is between the two of them. We saw that at McLaren. But we've also got a battle here that's developing into what is the lead of the race. Jack and Navy separated by just over 1 second now, with, I believe that's 8 laps to go, and it is 8 laps left here in Azerbaijan. We've got this battle a lot earlier than we were expecting through all the drama, and now within DRS range.
Yeah, definitely so. I think it's taken Jack just an extra lap to get back into the feel of things. Here goes Navy. Jack goes to the inside defensive, but Navy with DRS and the ERS turned down at the end there, makes the move around the outside, and the Renault into the lead of the race. He mentioned he picked up a victory, and his first ever victory was in TTL F2 around here, and he might be about to repeat that in TTL F1. He takes the lead of the race on those fresh medium compound tyres. Now he wants to try and pull a gap as quick as he can to get away from DRS on the Red Bull. And I just wonder, is already about a second on the timing. Is Jack struggling, having just got back in control of that car? It's a hard one to tell. The Toro Rosso's doing a great job holding on to third and fourth, as you say. Constructors' points. Barry, so close to the back of Sean there, coming into turn number 3, but again, no dice, and that wing is still damaged. Remember, it was not replaced in the pit stop for whatever reason, we do not know. And they are closing into the back of Crazy Legs as well, so it's about to be a freeway scrap shortly for 6th place between Crazy Legs, Sean and Old Man Barry. So we've just seen the battle for the lead, and Jack is dropping away dramatically. 2.8 seconds already. What is going on here?
I'm not too sure, actually. But,
there's no damage visible.
It can't just be the tyres, though, surely. We'll have a look at the gap between Lighty and Draw. Meanwhile, that battle is severely underway then. DRS open for Draw, and it looks like this time he's going to go for the move for what is now 3rd place. Draw then up the order, and now up onto the podium. And I wonder here if Lighty is going to fight him back in towards turn 3. That's Mays just up ahead, who's come out of the pit lane. Oh, made contact with George at turn 2. Mays and George come together at turn 2. Mays spun around, George as well. That was for position. And Mays here wanted to go for the fastest lap of the race on those soft tyres. Now he's got a damaged front wing to boot as well. Complete and utter drama. George is now disqualified from the session for going the wrong way. He was reversing, and obviously he reversed too far. But that's Mays then, who's pulled over to the side. I wonder if Mays thinks he's at fault for that one. Looked quite hard to tell because it was just on the horizon point. But Mays was on the inside, George on the outside, and then they came together. The rest then will probably be decided by the stewards.
Yeah, we just caught that one there. I was following, I think it was the Toro Rossos, and you just seen it at the bottom of the screen. You just seen the black and yellow Renault just disappear off the track with the Williams, and well, hard to pick out from my point of view what happened there, unfortunately, but that's ruined Maisie's race as well. George gets disqualified from trying to reverse back up the track. Probably would have been better trying to spin it, but at the same time, the game's just decided to DQ him, unfortunately. So we're down to 11 drivers, because remember, Leroy in control of that car at all. Leroy, if you're watching, you might want to get back in. You could still pick a point up at the moment if you were to get back in the session. The battle is still going on, mainly between Crazy Legs Sean and Old Man Barry. Barry's actually dropped off Sean a little bit now on the back of that Ferrari, and they are closing up to the back of Mays, who's heading back to pit lane minus, well, the majority of his front wing. But much more drama again. Jack seems to have just kind of stabilised the gap a bit now, but that's such a strange one of how much time he's lost after dropping out the session. But, well, any more drama going to happen in the last 5 laps?
Well, I'm sure it will. Crazy Legs in 6th place, Sean in 7th, with Barry there in 8th place, of course, with that damaged front wing. From what it looks like on our end, it looks damaged on the left-hand side. But well, for now, with 5 laps to go, with Navy leading, I said he was one of those drivers to watch, Navy. Who else did I say? I said Leroy. Well, he's out of the race.
Sean.
And I also said Sean, who is now in 7th place. So at the moment, then, Sean in the Ferrari, currently 7th place. Crazy Legs up in 6th place, which is, I think, the decision for Crazy Legs to sign for McLaren, I think, was a bit. It turned a couple of heads, it's fair to say, Andy. But currently running in 6th place He had a DNF last race out. He's currently running in 6th. Made a couple of mistakes today, especially at the runoff area at turn 3. But right now, with 5 laps to go, he's in a good position to score his first points of the season. Of course, I don't want to put the commentator's curse on him. I really don't.
No, of course not, and that's why I'm going to say nothing, although he could do with some points, because as we said in the season review driver announcement video, he actually had the most DNFs last season as well, so he needs to try and shake that tag away this season as well. Recon's joined us in the chat, unable to make it here tonight. He was looking at some college options for his future. As much as we love this situation, I think your future at college is a wee bit more important than a race. He's looking for a race review. Well, where the hell do we start? We had a restarted lobby because of a desync issue with the lobby. We then got underway. Leroy and Jack trading positions. Leroy then bumped into the wall, damaging his wing, and then dropped out the session. His car's running, but it's a ghost. Jack got himself some damage. We've seen crashes and incidents galore. Alan Kay caught out in the castle section. Liam Housewick's been caught out in the castle section. Mays spun on the first lap there as well, and you've just obviously caught up with what was going on between him and George as he exited pit lane. Jack ended up out of the session at one point at the exact same time that Warren crashed into the turn 3 wall. That allowed Navy to close the gap down from 8 seconds to 3 very, very quickly indeed before Jack got back into the session. And I don't think there's many cars out on the track. I think the only car I can think of that I've not seen damage to is the race leader. I think everybody else has had some sort of wing damage during this race. Please feel free to fill in any holes that I've missed there, Kieran, for Recon, so we can catch up. But you've missed plenty, mate. You've missed plenty.
I have to say as well, Henny, who's made 2 stops twice. He's lost a bit of front wing. Twice he's been in the pit lane. He's currently in 9th place. And that just shows you what staying in this race is all about. The race at Baku and the race at Monaco, it's worth staying in. If you keep 4 wheels on your car towards the checkered flag, you could get a good result.
Definitely so. I mean, I think in any race, but especially the likes of here in Monaco, you definitely want to stay in the race. I mean, even in a normal track, if there's a few drivers drop out or you're on the cusp of the top 10 but maybe got a bit of a gap, penalties can come into effect as well. We've seen that happen in the past as well. I think dropping out, personal opinion for me, dropping out of a session, even if you're down the field, for me is silly. Here comes Sean, by the way, just as a side note. He's now got the move done on Crazy Legs. He went to the inside, did the McLaren, but DRS made that a bit too easy for the Ferrari. And you can see Crazy Legs, another one with damage. He's missing the end fence on the right hand side of his car. So plenty of incidents going on. Does the McLaren fancy a remove back up to turn 3? Well, that DRS is powerful. He's got the battery turned up to 5. Overtake hot lap mode. Can he get it slowed down? No. And he's gone straight on nearly again. Just about missed the wall. He done that a few laps ago with the Gort. Went straight down the escape road. This time avoids the wall and Sean retakes the place. And I think the Ferrari just might try and disappear up the road a little bit. But yeah, for me, you should finish the race no matter what. You never know what can happen.
Absolutely. Well, Crazy Legs here will have to rebuild that momentum to try and have another go at Sean. But Sean right now up into 6th place as we head through the castle section. Such a narrow part of the circuit. It's certainly where I was league racing. I never had to face the turn 8 castle section apart from a 100% challenge cup race, which I finished. I made it through. I made it through that turn 8 section 53 times. I don't know how I did it.
I'd struggle to get through there 5.3 times, to be perfectly honest with you. And that's one thing I've actually not done. I've never actually done, for a long, long time, a 100% race. I can tell you 2 places I wouldn't want to do it. Here, in Monaco. 78 laps in Monaco? No thanks.
I kind of have to agree with you on that one, although I'd be out of the race by about lap 4. I'd have binned it as Sandoval. Well, Crazy Legs is starting to try and close in once again, but he's just fallen out of DRS range. Even with the DRS open, he's finding it tough to keep up as he now makes his way through turn 1 and then on towards turn 2. But with 3 laps to go then, 2 and a bit if you're picky, Navy leads then through turn 8 as we see the sun poking through the castle section there. Now, we're past the castle section, so I'm going to say it now. Navy, at this point in time, will be taking the lead of the Drivers' Championship. Of course, Recon is in the chat. He's not with us tonight, so there's a really good chance here that he will lose his championship lead. But, of course, he has one race win to his name at Bahrain. But with Navy here, it's looking good. 5.1 seconds on for his first race win of the season. And we said, Andy, in our season review, if you haven't watched it, go back and watch it, where we revealed all the drivers. But we talked about how Navy is a quick driver. He was fantastic in qualifying last season, could never seem to gather the car up for the race. He sort of had a setup that prioritised a quali setup, and then when it came to the race, the car just didn't feel the way it should. Here, though, it looks like it's set up perfectly.
Yeah, he's had an absolutely fantastic race, and although he was past the castle section that time, he's still got to go around it 2 more times. But, you know, hopefully no ill towards come. But Sean, Crazy Legs and Barry still going at it as well, so I'm watching them just now. But yeah, Navy doing a great job in the race. He qualified, it was P9, but he done that best lap on the hard compound tyres. He obviously didn't quite get the best lap on his final run in qualifying, and despite everything, he made a good start. He's stayed out of trouble. He's, as I say, he's the only driver I can think of that's not had any damage of any sort to the car at any point in this race. Jack's done it. Tro had to change his wing. Lighty's got damage at the moment. Crazy Legs has got damage just now. Sean's had damage. Old Man Barry's wing's still damaged. Henny's been in the pits twice. Charlie might have not had damage, I'm not too sure. Leroy obviously did on the opening laps, and Mays has been in the pits 3 times, and everyone else is out of the race, either due to a crash or damage related and deciding to give up. So yeah, it's been one of those ones here tonight for sure. And the fact that obviously Recon's not been here tonight, meaning that he can't try and extend that lead he picked up in Bahrain, means it's going to be pretty close going into next week as well when we get to Monaco. And oh boy, is that one going to be fun.
Monaco should be fun, that's for sure. But tune in next week. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Follow the league on Twitter at TTL_F1. You can follow me on Twitter whilst you're there. It's at KSMCG F1. You can follow Andy on Twitter as well as we head towards the final lap. Andy, take it away to the checkered flag for the first ever time as a duo. Yes, indeed. So I've done this in league racing, in the league mini league, which another, by the way, another one's coming up very, very soon. So keep your eyes peeled for that. We'll give you more details next week. But Navy heading on to his final lap of the race. I'm going to jump between the race leader and the battle for 6th, 7th and 8th as much as I can as well, because that is the closest battle on track. But Navy has done a great job here tonight. Fastest lap of the race, look at that. Leroy's actually got the fastest lap of the race, despite the fact he's not actually in control of the car. He done that in lap 2. That just shows you how crazy this race has been. Absolutely unbelievable. But we'll just jump back quickly to Crazy Legs and Sean and Old Man Barry, because DRS is enabled for those guys as well, but not close enough down to turn number 1. Let's see Navy through the castle section for the final time. We'll ride on board with a Renault, nice and easy into the first part, keeping it well away from the walls. He wants to make sure he finishes this lap and gets to the end of the race. Meanwhile, Crazy Legs has got DRS coming down towards turn number 3. He's missing part of the front wing, no, needs to be careful on the brakes, closing all the time, unable to make a move on Sean into turn number 3. We'll jump to that once we see the race leader across the line. He's catching up to the back of Charlie, who's a lap down. He probably just let him pass before the end, but Charlie is close to Henny, so you never know. But here comes Navy through the final couple of corners now, nice and easy through turns 18, 19, through the curve of turn 20, and heading up towards the line for what's been a fantastic race from the Renault driver. He's weaving down the front straight, he's within sight of the line now, and Navy crosses the line and he wins the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. A fantastic result from the Renault driver as he takes P1 until his AI car then crashes into Charlie, who's still got another lap to do as well, so that's a bit unfair on Charlie. Jack takes 2nd, Tro will take 3rd place. Lighty coming across the line, and 4th and Old Man Barry, Crazy Legs side by side. They're just catching the end of that into turn 15 there at the top of the hill. Barry almost pushing the McLaren through. Lighty's across the line in 4th. The Gort's going to take 5th. We're going to follow these guys to the line. That's going to give Sean 6th though, and Barry pushing as much as he can to try and steal 7th before the start and finish line. Here they come down the front straight. The Gort's across the line in 5th. Sean's across the line in 6th. Barry trying to find the slipstream to get by. Can he get the move done? He cannot.
before the line, and that was so close. 2/100ths of a second between them at the line. Crazy Leg 7th, Barry in 8th. Henny is going to cross the line eventually in 9th. Leroy will not finish because he's not in control of that car. Mays, what could have been for Mays? You know, he seemed like he was on for some points, but that incident with George cost him, so he's going to finish in 12th. We're just waiting on Jeffrey and Charlie to cross line. You can see Jeffrey's got more wing damage, so I don't think Racing Point are going to have any money left to repair the front wing. With Monaco next, that could be expensive, but brilliant race from Navy. Kept it clean. One of the few drivers, if only driver, not to hit the wall, and well-deserved victor.
Well, Jeffrey then is going to come across the line to finish in 9th. It is Charlie who will then come across the line to get another point scoring finish. There's Henny in the Racing Point, picking up some more points for the team. And Charlie rounds out the top 10. But a race winner in TTL F1 for this new season. It is Navy who wins on the streets of Baku.
And a fantastic result as well, puts him into the lead of the Drivers' Championship, as you were mentioning too. Jack in 2nd. We got that battle a bit earlier than we thought we were going to do because of Jack losing out and dropping out of the lobby for a very short period of time. Cost him about 4 seconds in the gap to the Renault, but the speed of the Dutchman seemed to have, he probably might have got into the lead anyway, but it would have been nice to have had it happen sort of, you know, organically, as they say. That's the word I'm looking for. But either way, it's a great result from Navy. Jack in 2nd, and Tro taking out the final podium position for Toro Rosso. So, as I like to do nowadays, stealing your line, Kieran, here is your unofficial results for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix here on TTL F1. It's Navy who wins from Jack in 2nd, Tro 3rd, Lighty in 4th. The Gort takes 5th for Red Bull, 6th for Sean, 7th for Crazy Legs, Old Man Barry in 8th, Henny in 9th, Charlie in 10th. Leroy didn't finish, so it was Mays in 11th. Leroy was a DNF, he was a ghost car. Warren crashed out at turn 3, Housewick at the castle section. Graham retired in pit lane after an incident with Housewick where he lost his front wing. Alan Kay in the castle section. George disqualified after an incident with Mays, and he reversed back up to the track. That put him out of the session. No penalties there, which makes me think either A, the drivers were very, very clean, or B, the penalties weren't working. I don't know, maybe the stewards had a night off, but either way, Navy takes a victory, and a well-deserved one at that as well.
I don't think there are any penalties for track limits, because the track limit penalty is the wall. So I think it was very hard to give out. I think it was very harsh to give out track limit penalties in any case. But I'll never forgive you for stealing my line, Andy. That's my line. It's trademarked. We all know it. But there we go. What can you say? Now,
imitation is the greatest form of flattery.
It is. Well, they say it is. They do say it is. So, Andy, we've made history in the duo. You've been the lead commentator tonight. So the lead commentator normally sets up one more thing all the night. Yeah,
but remember I spoke to you about that one earlier. I've not been feeling too good, unfortunately, so not going to be doing commentator tonight. I have been unwell, so I wanted to make sure I'd done the stream, I wanted to make sure I'd done the race, but I need to go and rest my head because it's pounding.
I think you've earned it, I've got to say to you. But a fantastic race here on the streets of Baku. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you're notified every time TTTV goes live. We are live tomorrow night at 8 PM for TTFL, so make sure you tune in for that one. You can follow this league on Twitter. It's at TTL_F1. You can follow me whilst you're there if you like. It's at KSMCGF1. And you can follow Andy whilst you're there as well.
You can indeed. It is Andy81287, same as it is on the screen just now. As you mentioned, TTFL on tomorrow from 8 o'clock. Should be Malk in the box for that. Saturday night, 8:30, the finale for Season 3 of Project Cars is the Clio Cup event. And after Saturday, we are moving to Monday nights from the 28th of October in the Project Cars League, so do look out for that. Tune into the stream on Saturday. James in the commentary box, as always, will give you more details. TTL F2 is back around the streets of Azerbaijan on Tuesday. Come and watch me die multiple times. And we're back on Thursday next week with Kieran back in control, hopefully as well, for the Monaco Grand Prix. Subscribe, like and comment after the aftermath of all this. What's been a fantastic race. For Kieran, for myself, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, we'll see you again soon. Ta-da!